Hi, I'm Sarit Greenberg from Wool and Fan Studio. We are in the video tutorial of the Windows C2C Motif blanket, and we are in the first window motif. So I'm going to start with the increase square. Increase square is chain 6, 1, 2, 3, and I put my finger in the third chain and then continue 4, 5, 6, and then 1 DC into this marked chain. It's the third chain from the hook, and 1 DC into the next 2 chain. Turn, and now in the second row we start with the increase square. 1, 2, 3, 6, and then a basic square, so I make a slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, so it's here, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 DC into the same space, into the same chain 3 space. Okay, and now we turn the work, and row 3 increase square, and now basic square 2 times, so slip stitch, chain 3 and 3 DC, and another basic square, the second one, and turn. Row 4 increase square and basic square 3 times. And the last one, the last basic square, and turn. Row 5 increase square, basic square, chain square, it's slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, so slip stitch, and then chain 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and now basic square 2 times. Okay, you see with the start of the windows, the first windows, and turn. Row 6, increase square, this is the last increase in this motif. If you want to make a bigger motif, so you can continue to increase each row. Now basic square, chain square 2 times, and actually if you want to make the motif without the windows, so you can change your chain square into a basic square. So you need to make the whole row, to work all row with the basic square. And now basic square 2 times, and turn. 7 row, we start with the decrease square. A decrease square is actually chain 1, and then a slip stitch into the next 3 dices. So this is the first one, 1 2 and 3. Now basic square twice, so the first basic square is into the next chain 3 space, so slip stitch, chain 3 and 3 dices, and another basic square, now a chain square, so a slip stitch into the next chain 6 square and chain 6, and a basic square twice, so slip stitch into the next 6 chain space. Actually it's no matter if you are working into the chain 6 or the chain 3, you make them the same, the square is the same. And the second basic square, and now a slip stitch into the next chain 3 space. So this is the slip stitch, and turn. Okay, row 8, decrease square, so 1 chain and through 3 slip stitch, sorry, and now basic square 4 times. Two, three, and the last one, and now slip stitch into the next chain 3 space and turn. Row 9, decrease square, and basic square 3 times. So this is the first, the second, and the last one. Slip stitch and then turn. Now row 8, decrease square, of course, then basic square twice, slip stitch into next chain 3 space and turn. Row 11, decrease square, and then basic square once, and slip stitch into the next chain 3 space and turn. And now row 12, I want to finish the square in the corner, so I have another the 12th row, so decrease square, chain 1, slip stitch into the next 3 this and slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, and then fasten off. And now turn. And this is the right side of the windows motif. First row that we start with is in the bottom left corner, and the last row that we made, it's on the upper right corner. So thank you, and we continue in the next video tutorial to which I show you how to join the next square with a join as you go method. Hi, I'm Sarit Greenberg from Wool and Fun Studio, and we are in the video tutorial which I show you how to make the second motif. The second motif is a join as we go to the first window motif. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. With the color B, or you can make it with the same color. I'm insert my hook from top into the head of the bottom right DC. So this is the bottom right DC, and this is the head of this DC. It's actually the corner DC. I'm put the slip knot on my hook and pull it through. So this is how I join the yarn. Now first row is the increased square, and I'm going to show you how what I made with the end. So I make the first chain of the increased square with both yarn. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this in the third chain from hook and into the next two chain. Okay, so this is the increase. I'm not turning the work, and I start with the second row, with row 2. Now we add to join increase square. We start with a slip stitch into the next space between the squares. So this is the first, this is the second square, and I'm going to make the slip stitch into the space between them, and make it above the end of the yarn. Now chain 3 and slip stitch into the next space between the squares. So it's going to be here. And now turn. Here come the turn. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. You can make chain 3 and then turn the work. And now I work a 3 DC into both a chain 3 space of the previous windows motif, and above the chain 3 space I just made. So here it is. This is the chain 3 from the last motif, and then I make 3 DC. And now a basic square, and turn. Row 3, increase square, in the second square we had we start one row with the increase, and in the other side we start with the join increase square. And basic square twice. Okay, and in this row, it's the row does not ended with a turn. So now row 4, join in square. So again, it's slip stitch into the next space between the squares, chain 3, and a slip stitch into the next space between the squares. And now I can turn and make chain 3 and 3 DC, above both chain 3 space, the one that I made just now, and one above the chain 3 from the previous square motif. And now basic square 3 times, and turn. In row 5, increase square, basic square, and now chain square, and you can change it into basic square if you want to make without the windows. 1 2 3 4 5 6, basic square twice, and this is the end of row 5. Row 6, we start with a join in square, but with a little bit different, because I don't have space between the squares in this last increase in this row. So I make the slip stitch into the chain, into here. It's into the chain 1 space that I made in the decrease square. So slip stitch here, just a minute, I have a mistake. So the first slip stitch, it's into this space between the square, and then chain 3, and now I don't have a space between the square, so I made a slip stitch into the chain 1 space here. It's slip stitch, and then turn the work, chain 3 and 3 DC, 3 this is into both chain 3 space, and I can work over the end of the yarn. And now basic square, chain square twice, and then basic square twice. And turn, and now you can see how the beautiful join as you go is. It's actually continue the pattern. So if I have here the 3 DCs, and here is the 3 DCs. Okay, so now we continue working row 7 till 12 as in the first window motif. So row 7, it's decrease square, and then basic square twice, chain square, and basic square twice. slip stitch into the next 3 chain space and turn. Row 8, decrease square, basic square 4 times, slip stitch into the next chain 3 space and turn. Row 9, decrease square, and basic square 3 times, and slip stitch into the next chain 3 space and turn. Row 10, decrease square, basic square twice, turn. 11 row, decrease square and 1 basic square and 1 slip stitch, slip stitch and turn. And now the last row, row 12, decrease square and a slip stitch into the next chain 3 space and fasten off, and turn. And now you can continue, join more windows motifs, excuse me, to each windows motif with the join as you go motif, join as you go method, and this is going to be your first line of your blanket. Have fun and have a lot of wool. Bye.